Hello and welcome to This Week in Frax. This week is Cryptic Week as we try to decipher what's going on inside of Sam's head.
Literally, the first 4 words of the V3 blog post we wrote yesterday, in true Frax fashion. Cryptic,
really
anon, just like breadcrumbs, nothing too dramatic, nothing too showy. It's just like Sam going off the dome saying, oh yeah, we're doing this and that and that and that. And it's just like, all right, so let's break it down for everyone.
And not only that, it's launching within 30 days too.
Right. Wait. Are the details released in 30 days or the whole thing released in 30 days?
Whole thing.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing. It's coming.
The whole shebang.
Yeah. So an Anon Wukong, who has the Frax Finance, what's it called? The little logo?
The international currency symbol.
Exactly. He was asking about BAM, and he's like, BAM, this, BAM, that. And he's like, he mentioned CurveUSD. And then Sam was like, yeah, we're going to work with CurveUSD. Frax V3 is like coming, and it's going to be with CurveUSD, and it's going to be the main show in town. And everybody, and he's like, holy cow, ha. And then, Sam had mentioned V3 first back in March 2023. Remember we were like talking about the roadmap that never actually came? The team was like, oh yeah, we're going to publish a remote roadmap for like 2023, which is like just kind of
I remember that.
Random messages in chat instead.
That's the roadmap. The roadmap is Sam Casbot on Telegram. That's where the roadmap is, folks.
Yeah. And then as soon as he mentioned Frax V3, like loads of people just started asking. And this Frax community member LZ asked, like, how does Frax V3 work and how can it not rely on fiat coins? Sam cryptically said, does CRVUSD rely on fiat coins? Interesting. And then they talked about the peg keepers. So he said, like, Frax V3 is more in that area of design like CRVUSD, but probably even less necessary. I don't understand what's going on there.
Yeah, and the curve AMO is here to stay too, but we don't need to sell or reduce the AMO to balance the peg for V3.
Yeah, so he said it's going to be a way to contract the supply of Frax to keep the peg without needing to rebalance the curve pools.
It sounds like a new swap facilities in the works, folks.
Interesting.
I wonder where that could be.
Interesting.
I have no idea.
Interesting. I wonder if it deals with Uniswap. Do you think it could deal with Uniswap at all, with how the V3 pools work? No. Okay.
No one knows what it means, but it's
provocative.
Yeah, so
it gets the people going.
Sam said multiple times that Frax V3 is going to be a totally different system and not rely on fiat coins. But then he made this really weird cryptic comment. Like, he says all this, but then ACT asks him, like, T-bill yields are going to go to FXS VLCVX, right? And Sam was like, essentially, yes. But to be more accurate, VFXS holders decide what to do with all the revenues of the protocol. So T-bill yields coming to Frax in 30 days, plus not relying on fiat coins. I don't understand, because T-bill yields are like fiat coins, right?
No.
What's going on here?
Well, I'll put it this way. This is how so Tesla. We all know and love Tesla. What did Tesla do that no one else did? They own all parts of their supply chain. They have the lithium batteries. They own all part. They own like their stack, quote unquote. And what I am speculating, of course, with Frax V3 is, Frax taking control of their stack. If you know what I mean.
But you know what else that no one's really talking about is if we get more revenue, that means we're gonna hit 100% collateral ratio sooner than later. So that's I don't think anybody's mentioned that yet. So you heard it here first.
Exactly.
Yep. What's the amount of collateral that we have?
I think it's at like 94.5%, right? That's been kind of
not the collateral ratio, but like how much collateral does Frax have? Like,
I can do the quick and dirty math
like
for you.
600 million or something like that.
I'm gonna do some dirty math for you.
700 million. If we're earning even 3% on that, 4%, 5%,
5%.
5% is where all the treasury bills are right now. But even if we earn 3 or like 2.5%, that's still a significant amount of revenue. That's like tens of millions of dollars a year extra coming into Frax.
True.
But we don't know anything. We're just guessing because, like everybody else, we just see what's happening in the Telegram and then have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave put out a great tweet, which was just like FrxETH3, FrxETH3, FrxETH3 over and over and over. That was great.
Yeah. my favorite is people trying to like decipher and depict what's going on. Like we're all in the same boat. Like one of my shout out I think it's Crypto Investor 77 on Twitter. Let me just like make sure I get his username right. Yeah, Crypto Investor 77. He's been like really on the hunt of like what's going on with FrxETH3. When you see someone with a llama profile pic, that's when you need to pay attention. And so and so he's been on his investigative journalist grind, and I suggest if you're listening to this, you go scroll down his timeline, his profile, past tweets, and you may or may not see some alpha. I cannot confirm nor deny because I don't know anything.
So in addition to this, shout out to DeFi Cheetah, who did some great work this week.
Friend of the show.
Of talking about the upcoming FrxV3 update. And he also went through and made this nice presentation about the balance sheet. So he went in and he kind of like wrote out what everything is. I think you guys can see this. And like kind of put some numbers here, kind of explain these terms a bit more. Because some of them are a little bit confusing, especially the locked liquidity, right?
I think the locked liquidity might be the most confusing part.
Yeah. And locked liquidity, to be clear, is other people's assets that are locked in the staking contracts that Frax counts on its balance sheet because it protects the peg.
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a really good one. I actually did the same one for Frax Check 4 weeks ago when we did the balance sheet review on Frax Check, and I did a little key for people in the blog. Damn, I should have tweeted that out. Front run DeFi Cheetah. Damn it.
He's fast. He is DeFi Cheetah, you know.
He's really good. Additionally, there was also some FPIS alpha where Subguru asked, hey, when new FPIS utility as announced lately? Thanks for info. Prayer hands. And Sam came back immediately and said, hey, we're working on making sure FPIS has a totally new gauge liquidity bribing mechanic. We kind of knew this, that FPIS is going to have this like different gauge system where people can vote on like where, like what the inflation is supposed to be, right? So he said it's taking a bit long with everything going on. Of course, since like FraxGov is coming and FrxETH2, which are big projects. But he says since FPIS is essentially interest bearing for stakers, it should make the opportunity cost of holding staking it significantly less until the big gauge release. Yeah.
Yep.
So
middle child syndrome.
I
we'll
love
get to you when we get to you.
No, I love FPIS. I've been chilling in CVX FPIS for like forever. It is great.
It's 4-year lock it.
You 4-year lock. I'm not 4-year locked in that. I have 4-year locked my FXS, of course, but my FPIS, I'm chilling. I'm convexing.
Yeah, I just don't want to like, you know, there's always times where you're like, I need some cash, like now I should sell some stuff. And if I just 4-year lock it, then I have no
4-year locked.
Yeah, 4-year locked until it's done.
I'm 10-year locked. Okay. Well, what do we got next on the docket?
Well, the FrxV3 was kind of the big story. Outside of that, mostly it was just all of our content this week. So the big news on Frax Check was that the supply dropped below $1 billion.
Pain.
Yeah. This was due to the AMO rebalancing. Olympus DAO moved $14 million outside of Frax to go put into the DSR. I guess the yield opportunities are better over there right now. And it finally broke $1 billion. We'd been sitting there for a couple of months.
For like a year almost.
Yeah, no, not a year, but like it was like 4 months, 5 months, some crazy number like
Oh
that.
man, I mean, like yield, man.
I
Numbers,
the
numbers
DSR
talk.
has been pretty powerful. I've seen a lot of bull posting about Maker recently about
Yeah,
how Maker has this new DSR proposal that they're putting through. It's going to pay like the first tranche like 8% yield.
8%.
Yeah. So like as it fills up, like the first people to join and deposit money into get like 8%, and then it goes to 6, and then 5, and then 4, and then down to 3. But it's TVL based about how much they get in.
Wow,
How are
that's a
they
lot.
offering 8? Is it with emissions or only pure real
No,
yield?
pure yield. Yeah, I think.
Eight,
Yeah,
but 8.
yeah. I think they're making hand over fist on moving all of their money off chain into these treasuries, and so they're starting to get a lot more cash on hand that they can use to increase rates, and especially play these little games of getting the DSR up.
Oh, so you're saying the quantity of cash that they're off chaining is more than the quantity of DAI that is being staked or locked in DSR.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really
So
interesting.
effectively, they have like a
Mhm.
FrxETH system,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
DSR has become the risk-free rate of DeFi.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had like 7 million XDAI just go off the bridge because of the DSR. And then this was part of my presentation during HCC. It was how the Gnosis chain folks proposed literally the FrxETH system, but for XDAI, and to have SXDAI, and to have like people just like put the XDAI and put it just right on the bridge and earn like a boosted rate. So, we're really seeing the effects of Maker, and on top of that, and what they're doing with the Spark protocol and making it like super easy for people. Like they're putting in their work. Like they're doing a good job. Give credit where credit's due. Shout out Maker.
So Maker's 54% of Maker's revenues, like all their revenues, now come from T-bill interest.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's I think the Frax V3 is Sam's probably seeing Maker. I don't know, maybe if T-bill yield is coming to Frax, it's kind of big. So
Stablecoin maximism, that risk-free rate, those high-quality reserve assets.
let's see what else we had. So the supply went down, and where did my screen go? Okay. Yeah, we also had a really nice write up about Fraxferry this week, with all the nastiness that's happening in Phantom right now. I interviewed Benjamin this morning or yesterday, when you guys are watching this for Leviathan, and we talked about the DPEG, and like my was used as one of the only stable coins that people could get their hands on Phantom, and people were just like dumping as much as possible, and the price of my went down to like 60 cents or even lower, 50 cents, even though everything's fully backed and CDP based, which doesn't really make sense. And it's had ripple on effects outwards to the rest of the protocol, and now like which is again, it's like a CDP issued loan, is trading at 93 cents on the dollar, which is crazy, right?
So it's just like a fantastic ARB opportunity, you're saying?
Yeah, fantastic. Like if you have loans taken in which like were for their V1 vaults, made like it was a no brainer, right? You paid 0.5% in closing fees and no interest, which is pretty awesome. So now you can go in and you can go buy back your debt at like 93 cents in the dollar, close out your loan, and move it over to Frax.
Wow.
Fraxland.
Instant 7% APR.
But what's cool, I was talking to Benjamin. They have a similar bridge, kind of like what Fraxferry is. So it's a canonical bridge, and each route that gets pushed out has its own like rate limit. So as soon as the Phantom stuff started happening, and I'm pretty sure same for Frax as well too. Like Frax doesn't have to let any bad debt come back into the system, and Frax has been stable and strong on Phantom, even though everything's collapsing over there. It's like one of the few stable assets that has not gone into the gutter. So Fraxferry has proven itself as resilient and shown that, like we said in the article, can scale up to billions of dollars.
I really like that article. You did a great job on that. I actually received multiple compliments on it and really helped. Hell, Stable Scara, friend of the show, wrote a whole thread from that article. So you got the threaders going.
Yeah. I think we'll see this design be copied by pretty much everybody.
Frax once again pioneering in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine my shock.
So Chainlink came out with their CCIP protocol, like cross-chain interoperability protocol this week, and it uses something like Fraxferry. They're trying to optimize for speed at the same time, but they still have this intermediary of users or protocols that can pull like the kill switch, or not kill switch, but pause switch at any time if there's any abnormal issues. And I believe they also add in rate limiting as well too.
Isn't it funny how it's funny, like we talk about, blockchain things being faster, instant settlement, but like when it comes to bridges and the slowness of bridges, because you gotta have to be, it's like now I understand how like banks operate a bit more and like why things take longer in the TradFi world. Granted, Fraxferry is still like a shorter amount of time than a traditional bank, but it's not that like instant settlement that we like proselytize, like, what I mean? Because you have to be more careful when you go across chains.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when you're issuing all this debt, you like,
all these liabilities.
Yeah.
You don't want to be liable.
Exactly. And if you guys didn't listen to it yet, we put out a great interview with Ambient. David Kitt did a great job this week.
Yeah, I was seeing Miyu all over Paris. Like, I swear to God, like every fucking event I went to, Miyu, even like during the day at night, I'm like, Miyu, what's up? And we actually got a lunch like the day I left. And when we did the interview, Uniswap X, the router wasn't out, but it was announced at ETC. And are you guys familiar with Uniswap X?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically like
I'm not.
It's CowSwap. It's like a matching engine. Yeah. And so like we were talking about, it was like really interesting. I was like, oh, like what are your thoughts on it? And like, it's like, hey, it might be like good for traders in the short term, but over time it's really just like these like a few select market makers that are going to go and dominate and kind of corner the market again. And at the end of the day, like LPs get a bad deal and whatnot. And you're just like creating like the old system, but like on chain again. And what I really like about the Ambient guys, and like this is why like I suggested this to be the title, like it really does put LPs first and really does think about like, okay, how can like users actually have a good experience? How can like users, there really are like, the David, I guess, if Uniswap is Goliath. And so Uniswap has done a lot of great things in space. I love Uniswap. Like they've definitely set the standard. But, with like Uniswap X and all this stuff, it's like, it's like it's definitely a shift in the philosophy. Like just because it's on Uniswap X doesn't mean it necessarily has to go through Uniswap V4. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to go to Uniswap V3 or anything Uniswap for that matter. It just cares about the best price.
Yeah, and Uniswap is moving towards like a professionalization of market making, and I think it's important to juxtapose it against Curve, which has stayed true to its roots. It believes very much in composability of its products, and it's it helps bring in projects. I think it naturally just projects like on any network, any chain where Curve is deployed, will just naturally gravitate towards it.
Yeah,
like the Benjamin was saying when I spoke to him this morning that Uniswap having their funds in Uniswap was actually really bad as a stablecoin issuer, because as soon as it went out of range, out of their like tight like 3-tick range that they had on Uniswap V3, it was done. There's no more liquidity. Like nobody can trade anymore.
Nobody can trade. No more fees.
Mm-hmm. Like even on a Curve pool, when you get to the far edges and there's maybe only like 1 or 2% left, like you can still trade. It's just there's a lot of slippage.
Mm-hmm.
So lessons learned. The more that like I spend in the space, like I see that Curve is like the right way to build. Like not that Uniswap isn't also important, because it is at increasing efficiency and professionalization, but when we think about the ecosystem as a whole and about like additive measures
And DeFi, if you think about like the D in DeFi,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the decentralized part, it's Curve. It's Curve. It's Frax.
Mm-hmm.
It's my. Yeah.
So in the same thing for the Ambient guys. I mean, they're
Ambient.
really they're really trying to like build a great product, which is great to see.
And shout out to the builders. It's hard out there. It's a grind. Whether it's DeFi, whether it's NFTs, whether it's I had a buddy, like he's doing an NFT project. Man, is he going through some shit. But he's grinding out there, especially in like these markets, these bear markets. And so if you're a builder, if you're in the trenches, if you're feeling down, if you've been hacked, if you've been rugged, if you've been whatever, like you're still here. That's the most important thing. You wake up, you show up, and that's 85% of everything. Just keep showing up.
Well, that's a good place to end. That was everything that we have for this week. Dave, you want to take us out?
Sure thing. And if you want to be with us every week on This Week in Frax, our Flywheel flagship podcast, or with Kit on a Frax check and everything in between, make sure you hit that bell button right now. Do not hesitate. Do it right now. And also give us a like. Let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe too. That's really important. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Flywheel DeFi. Join the Telegram group at Flywheel DeFi. Subscribe to our website down below, flywheeldefi.com. Go there right now. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFiDave22.
Follow me at 0xcapital_K.
I'm a traders_insight.
Frax V3, Frax V3, 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 V3.
We'll see you next week.
V3.
Frax V3.